US President Joe Biden has promised new military aid for Ukraine worth $500 million during a surprise visit to Kiev, which comes almost a year since the start of Russia's invasion.
1 year later, Kyiv stands, and Ukraine stands. Democracy stands. The Americans stand with you, and the world stands with you.
In a trip showing solidarity with Kiev, Biden also said additional sanctions will be announced this week against Russian elite and companies trying to evade sanctions to back what he calls the Russian war machine. He further clarified that the military aid package would include artillery ammunition, anti-armor systems and air surveillance radars. Tens of thousands of Israeli protesters have flocked to the streets of Jerusalem, heading towards the Israeli Knesset, as parliament prepared to hold the first reading of judicial changes prompted by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's religious nationalist government. Wielding 64 of the Knesset's 120 seats, Netanyahu looked likely to win an eventual ratification for the first two changes, one increasing the government's sway in choosing judges, and the other setting limits to the Supreme Court's ability to strike down legislation. As critics say, Netanyahu, who is on trial on graft charges, seeks legal changes that will hurt Israel's democratic checks and balances, foster corruption, and bring diplomatic isolation. Weather services in Mauritius have warned that the island is under direct threat as Tropical Cyclone Freddy approaches across the Indian Ocean. Video footage showed strong winds and waves battering a beachfront hotel in Belmar as the island nation grounded flights and shut down its stock exchange. Weather services further confirmed that the cyclone could pass as close as 120 kilometers to the north-northwest of the island later in the day, and advised people not to go out to sea as a storm surge is likely to cause coastal inundation in risk areas. And finally, on Global Tidbits, the Burkinabe Armed Forces says France and Burkina Faso have officially marked the end of French military operations in the West African country. The flag-lowering ceremony at a French Special Forces camp represents a new chapter in Burkinabe's battle with armed groups linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State. The development follows the departure of some 400 special forces, which also indicates a sharp deterioration in relations between Burkina Faso and France. And that's it on Global Tidbits.